Today I'm sharing some projects I've been working on, including a new cast on and a new sample knit, and 3 books that I finished since we last talked. Welcome back to the Hannah G Knits podcast. I am Hannah. If we haven't met, I'm a mom and a knitter in North Carolina, and this is where I share my project makes, some of my designs, and a few other hobbies like baking, reading, gardening, and things like that. Today is a regular project updates video, so I'm sharing finished objects, works in progress, and some hobby. First, I'll start with my finished objects. I have one today. I just made some mittens for myself. This also kind of goes with acquisitions because I never shared this yarn. I got the yarn and then I made them so quickly I never got to share them with you guys. If you watched my mitten roundup, my last video, I do talk about these. These are Clara's Playtime mittens, and I made the adult small, and I used Little Fox yarn, Fennec in the colorway Unlaquered Brass. And I love them. They have already gotten a lot of wear. These are like my driving gloves because in the mornings the car is so cold and I don't want to put my hands on the steering wheel, and so I have been using them for driving in the mornings and for going on walks and pushing the stroller. So I am really happy with them. Claire's Playtime Mittens has little baby kiddo to big adult sizes, and they are by Amy Scher Makes, and I kind of love them. Easy to customize. You can do a flap for your thumb, whatever you'd like to make. Just a classic basic mitten that I think would be great to have in your pattern library. I recently made a video exposing all of my works in progress. Since that video, I have either finished or frogged most of the items in that video. I was proud of myself for all the progress I made after that. So one finished object is a sock from that video that I finally finished. Now I do have to make the second sock with this. This is Woolberry Fiber Co. sock yarn. I don't know the colorway. And this is all the Frills socks. I've talked about these before. They're my sock roundup. I won't bore you guys with them, but I did finish them for, accountability's sake. I did finish a good amount of the projects in that video, or frogged them. Quite a few I frogged as well, which felt good to kind of frog the yarn, put the yarn back, move on from the project that didn't work out. Also a little bit sad. Next, I'm gonna show you my works in progress. Here's a new one that I've been working on, and it's also an acquisition. There was a market at my local yarn shop, Freeman's Creative, and the owner, Amelia, had this beautiful lineup of vendors, and it was for their fall festival / anniversary. And oh my goodness, there were so many vendors, but I just brought this from Amelia because I wanted to buy it and support her. But this is Kelbourne Woolens Scout, and I've already made so much progress. This is honestly almost done, I would say. Where's the back? Okay, I think it's almost done. This is the White Mountains Light Slipover version by Midori Hirose Knits. And this is inspired by, Mom and I were at a coffee shop and a woman walked by wearing a slipover, silver. It was beautiful. And my mom said, oh, I don't know that I'm really a vest person, but I love that one. And the thing that really stood out to me from that slipover was the shoulder details. It had like this beautiful, like sort of curved and cap sleeve. And so I spent many nights perusing the Hot Right Now and Ravelry pages to find something, and this is what I came up with. I wanted to make this pattern for a while, and I feel like this just gorgeous sort of detail right here really encapsulated what I wanted it to be. Now the underarms are a little deep, and I'm not sure if that was a me problem or that's just how the pattern is. I think it's gonna relax a lot. My sister tried it on, and it was kind of like this on her, and she did not like that. But I imagine it will relax with blocking. And I think that's what I'm gonna do next to make sure I get the length I want. The pattern is like 24 inches long, which I don't think I've ever knit anything that long. So I'm planning to make it about 21 inches because I want it to be full length, but I don't want it to be like longer than all the shirts that I'm wearing with it. So we'll see, but I think my next step will be block it to see if it relaxes. And I only have this much yarn left. So I don't know, I might just like make the ribbing as long as I can and then bind it off. I don't know if I want to get a third ball of yarn for just like this much ribbing. We'll see. This is Kelbourne Woolens Scout and it feels so good. I had to go up a needle size from the pattern and it's just created this light and airy, it's not really see-through, it's just like, I don't know, it's just really light and airy and cozy, and I think it's gonna be cute. The pattern is a raglan, but because you're not making the sleeves, for the Slipover version, you have to work the back and front separate. It was really interesting. I have never worked a pattern like this before, but I like how you still get the raglan shaping and the cap sleeve detail with the I-cord around it. I really like it, and I think it's really beautiful. I will say the pattern is a little complicated. I honestly struggled to read it. I don't think that the pattern itself is hard, but I do think that the pattern can be difficult to understand. There's a lot of pages, and it's essentially, I guess, like a compound raglan maybe, and so there's charts and symbols and all kinds of things. So if you're not used to that, looking at it is a little bit like overwhelming. If you have a friend that has made it, I think that would help, just like looking through it and saying, oh, it's not actually as complicated as it looks. That would be helpful, because looking at it, I was like, I think I'm gonna buy a different pattern. This is really complicated. But after actually making it, it is not difficult to knit at all. It's just working through the pattern, finding, which size is yours, and where, all of that, what modification you want to do. There's so many mods included in this that I think that's also makes it tricky, because you follow this one or you follow that one and you jump to this page or that page. And so I think that's what makes it like complicated. I don't want to dissuade you from making this pattern, because it's gorgeous. If you've knit one of Midori Hirose's patterns before, you may be more familiar with how they're written. And I think that could be helpful as well, because it's their classic style, but it just feels a little complicated. But I'm overall really happy with it so far, and I think I'm gonna do the ribbing soon. I wanted like not an instant gratification, this is just DK weight yarn, but I am using US 9 needle, so it feels quick, but not like, a week quick. More like 3 or 4 weeks quick. I want to get a bunch more Scout for my yarn pantry and maybe make a full sweater out of it. The next thing I'll show you guys is the yarn I'm using for a sample knit that I just got in the mail a few days ago. This is knitting for Olive Cotton Merino, and the colorway is Dark Cognac, and it's gorgeous. I have only used the Cotton Merino for sample knits, which is a little disappointing. I would like to make myself something out of this. Maybe with the payment from the sample knit, I will buy myself some Cotton Merino. But I can't really tell you guys about the project. However, it's coming in the spring and it's gonna be really exciting, and I love this color and this yarn. Next is an update on my Prospect pullover. It is coming along so nicely. I redid the neckband. I talked about how I thought it was too tight. It was too tight. I redid it. It's much better. I think it was just my bind off, and I went up a needle size for the ribbing. Ooh, the heat just came on. It's been really cold here for North Carolina. It's probably not that cold for many of you watching. It's like 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So we've been chilly. We've been wearing knits and hats and coats and scarves, but probably not too cold for many of you. We're just in the South, so. Anyway, I finished this sleeve, finished the body, knit it to the recommended length. I didn't make any mods there. I did a tubular bind off instead of the binding off in pattern. Obviously, I have a lot of ends to weave in, if you see all these just hanging out. And I am this far on this sleeve. So that's all I have to do is finish this sleeve, block it, and then I'll be ready to wear it. Now, here's the problem. I bought this yarn 2 years ago maybe, and I have since like changed style, changed size, all of that. So I did not have enough yarn for this project. I only had 4 balls of this Woolberry yarn. Amazingly, Bethany brought it back for a fall, colors, and so I bought a skein of this to finish the sleeve with when I realized I was not actually gonna have enough for the size that I need to make. I don't know when it's gonna come. I thought it would be here by now. It is not here. So my little sleeve is just hanging out because I know, like you guys might wonder, I would wonder too, you're so close to finishing this. Why are you just working on other things? That is why I am waiting for the yarn ball to come. I'm mentally preparing myself for it to be a different dye lot and not to match, and I'm just okay with it. I am going to be fine with it because I really want to wear this sweater. I'm so excited about it. I think I might block it before the yarn comes, and then after I finish the sleeve, just block like the second half of the sleeve so I can wear it so soon after I finish it. Yes, I'm so excited about this one. Okay. Is that all of my projects? Probably not. I think that's all my active projects after I shared all my whips with you guys. Okay, let me check my bags. Do you guys also have a ton of project bags just hanging out? I do. Okay, yeah, that's all my projects right now. I'm gonna really work on my sample knit and my slipover. It's just probably for the month of December. So I think this might be my last project update video until the new year. I don't really have any plans to cast on new things. I might have some acquisitions from sales from Christmas, after Christmas sales, but other than that, yeah, I also might cast on like a quick project. Since my sample knit is knit on very small needles and it's like light fingering to fingering weight, I do think I'll need like a large needle project to work on so that I'm not straining my hands. My last sample knit I did, I hurt my hands a little bit by just really focusing on it and knitting on it monogamously with like US 3 needles, and my hands really hurt after. So I think I'm gonna get another larger needle size project going so that I can work on this as well and not have my hands hurting a lot. Some of you mentioned that actually on my whips video because you said you like to have a lot of whips so you can do that for your hands. Like you can give them rest by doing US 10 needles or give them a little bit of a break as you're working on your socks or your fingering weight projects, which I kind of love. Moving on from my knits, now I'm going to share about books. If you're just here for the knits, thank you for being here. Leave me a comment and tell me what you're working on. I'm going to share 3 books that I finished since my last video. When I shared that video, I talked about how I felt like I had just been reading really sad books lately. These are like my put my headphones in, everybody is sleeping, the dishes are done, all of that, I'm sitting in bed knitting kind of reads. And so I kind of want them to be more enjoyable, I guess, than a kind of sad knit, if that makes sense. A sad kind of read, I guess, if that makes sense. There is a time and place for every book, but that is what I was looking for. So you guys gave me a recommendation for Remarkably Bright Creatures, which I just finished last night. After I finished it, I explained the whole plot to my husband, and he was like, did you like it? And I said, yeah, I loved it. It was such a good book. And he's like, oh, good. I'm glad you liked it. I couldn't tell like if it was a good story or a weird story. Like, oh no, I did not describe this well at all. So I'll try and do a better job. I brought up the description on my laptop so that hopefully I won't describe it like I did to my husband, who did not understand it at all. Anyway, Remarkably Bright Creatures is by Shelby Van Pelt. It is a fiction, contemporary mystery, magical realism, literary fiction book. 368 pages. It's from 2022. I really loved it. This says, Remarkably Bright Creatures, an exploration of friendship, reckoning, and hope, tracing a widow's unlikely connection with a giant Pacific octopus. I did not tell my husband it was magical realism. I don't think I really realized it was. I just thought the octopus was really smart. I mean, one of the point of views is the octopus, so obviously that is not going to be real. It follows a widow who's around 50, a young man who is maybe like 20 or 30, and an octopus in an aquarium. I really enjoyed it. I don't want to spoil it. The octopus kind of spoils it halfway through anyway, which I love. I love to know what is going to happen. So reading this book, I was kind of wondering what was going to happen. The octopus spoils the ending. And so then you just read the rest of the book to find out how they all reach that conclusion at the end. So I love that. I always read spoilers. And so I didn't even have to read a spoiler this time. The book did it for me. I know some people may be hoping for that big reveal at the end, but about halfway through, the octopus kind of does that for you. So I don't know. I don't want to say too much. but I really enjoyed it. It was a very special read. For a content warning, I don't want to recommend without giving those. I would say there is conversations about a death that occurred previously, and so if you have any kind of like family trauma or that kind of thing, I would maybe read a synopsis, read content warnings more in depth. But overall, it was just very sweet and happy, and I love this. I want it to be like a movie. I don't know how they'll do the octopus, so maybe not, but with like an ensemble cast, and like it's warm and cozy, and I really liked it. Okay, moving on. I would give it I gave it 4 stars because I don't really give anything 5 stars, but maybe 5 stars, probably like 4.5, because I just really liked it. The next one I also really liked. I was on a roll, or you guys were, 'cause some of these are recommendations. The Other Side of Now by Paige Harbison. This just came out in June of this year. It has 320 pages. It is another sort of magical realism romance, fiction, fantasy, contemporary, time travel. Loved it. Loved it. I think I would give this one a 5 as well. Clearly, I'm not good at describing books, so I'll just read this to you guys. A hilarious and heartfelt novel about how loves and lives are never truly lost. Very sweet. Content warning for this one as well. There is a car accident that is revisited multiple times. And so if you have any sort of trauma or concern regarding that, I would probably skip this book because it is a recurring theme throughout the book. I also do think there's one spicy scene. So if that is a concern for you in your content warnings, I don't really remember, but I think it's easy to just skip or flip through. Okay. Anyway, basically what happens is this girl is a movie star living the high life, and her life sort of crashes down, and she goes to Ireland where she's always wanted to go, and she wakes up there and she is different. She is a different version of herself. She is living a different life. She has a boyfriend, she has friends, she has a home there, and she has her very dearest, best childhood friend lives in the town as well with her, but she's not speaking with her. However, this is better because in her previous life, her friend had passed away in a car accident. So it gives you the 2 looks at her life from that point on after high school. I think maybe when she's 18 or 19. Did she live this life where she becomes a star, or does she live this life where she lives in this small town in Ireland with friends and her best friend is still there? I really enjoyed this. I feel like the romance was sort of second to the theme of grief and friendship, and then also the unconditional love that a true friend or a true family member can give to you. And I really liked those depictions of friendship and grief, and what if there is a other version of your life, and how would you handle that, and what is really important to you? What changes would you make? I love that. It was also just lighthearted, despite the sort of really deep themes. It was lighthearted and funny, and there was just good-natured characters. I felt like everyone in the book was likable. Love that. If this was turned into a movie, it would probably be really cheesy and not great. But I loved it as a book. It was just very encouraging and positive, and I don't know. I just really liked it. So definitely recommend that. The last one that I read was Nora Goes Off Script. Also, love this one. This could also be a movie, and I would watch it. Nora's life is about to get a rewrite. This is from 2022. It has 272 pages. It's a romance fiction, contemporary romance, adult. I guess romance. I don't know that I would say it's all about romance, but it's basically this woman, Nora. She is a single mom. She has 2 kids. She writes a movie that is a hit, I guess. Her previous movies are all just for Hallmark, essentially. And so a movie star comes, stays with her, and films the movie at her house, and then he wants to stay. And they fall in love, and it kind of chronicles their life and journey from when they meet until the end of the book, and what what her kids are doing, what their everyday small town life is like. Just very picturesque. I really just enjoyed it. Again, I think this was really what I was looking for in terms of a encouraging read that just made you smile. The last part of the description says, Filled with warmth, wit, and wisdom, Nora Goes Off Script is the best kind of love story, the real kind where love is complicated by work, kids, and the emotional baggage that comes with life. For Nora and Leo, this kind of love is bigger than the big screen. It felt very like just sweet and wholesome, romantic. The trope is like misunderstanding, I guess, part of the trope. And so I felt like it maybe lasted a little long. So if you like don't really like that, just put your audiobook on like 2 and get through that a little bit faster. But overall, yeah, loved it. I would read it again. I would watch it as a movie. Just fun, like chick flick. It's giving like Notting Hill vibes. A movie star, she meets this guy and goes to his house for a holiday and meets his family, and she just loves the everyday life. And yeah, this is definitely Notting Hill vibes if you're a fan of that movie. I absolutely am. Thank you for watching. Please like and comment and subscribe. Let me know what you're working on or what you've been reading. I hope you have a lovely December, and I don't know when my next video will be, so I will see you when I see you.